This tale of love begins with an exhilarating mutual attraction and passion that makes hearts beat faster and gives inexpressible sensations. I sat in the bus by the window. Then she sat next to me. The most beautiful, desired girl in my life. She seemed to sense that I was staring at her intently, and she smiled at me. In that moment, I understood how people fall in love. Unexpectedly, beautifully, and thrillingly, of course, irreversibly. Answer. Reflecting on how this girl could change my whole life with just her presence, I noticed that she, too, couldn't take her eyes off me. There was a mysterious spark in her eyes that made my heart beat faster. Our gazes met, and it felt like time slowed down its pace. The atmosphere in the bus seemed filled with magic, as if there was just her and me around. I shyly smiled back at her kind smile, feeling like it was the best thing that could happen in my dull and monotonous life. For a moment, we stared at each other, immersed in a special moment that would forever stay in our memory. I felt my breath becoming irregular and my heart pounding so loudly, as if it wanted to break free from my chest. But suddenly, she turned towards the window, as if breaking her gaze from me, and I felt a strange pang of disappointment in my heart. Maybe it was just a random encounter in the bus, and I was imagining something greater between us. The bus continued its journey, and we silently sat across from each other. Suddenly, I felt like I had to say something to not miss this magical moment. But as I opened my mouth to say something, she turned to me and asked, "Excuse me, how do I get to the city center?" Her voice sounded pure and clear, like music to my ears. I smiled, feeling silly for diving into my romantic fantasies. "Just straight to the final stop, then transfer to trolleybus number 5, I calmly replied. She smiled at me once more, nodded gratefully, and then rose from her seat and walked towards the bus exit. I watched her go, seeing her vanish from my life as suddenly as she appeared. A moment later, the bus stopped, and I got off at my stop. Standing on the empty street, I realized that even if it was just a random encounter, she left something tender and thrilling in my heart. I smiled to myself, knowing that love can be in an instant, and it can change your life, even if it's just a fleeting moment.